Molly, were you ever able to get a hold of that fella?
Yeah, I just actually got a response from him today. So he sent me the entire story and I put it in Google Drive. And then there's also some comments that Matt Mungy left on it. So if we want to edit, I mean, I can just edit it based on Matt's comments, but it's in the drive if anybody wants to take a
Cool.
look at it.
Is he all cool with everything we're doing?
Yeah, I told him that we would obviously give him credit in the magazine, and that
Yeah.
if you wanted to see any updates about the graphics or anything, he's just gonna shoot me an email like to see if he wants to see whatever we come up with for the story.
Cool. Cool, cool. How's everybody else doing?
Hanging in there.
Cool. Yeah, crappy weather makes it for a little crappier of an experience, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
Been very lucky so far.
it's true.
And my dust bowl of a yard needs it. I've got the dustiest dogs ever. The dog park's a dust bowl. Everything's a dust bowl. All right, I'm gonna presume that everybody who's here is everybody who's gonna be here. Um, has anybody encountered an issue that was unanticipated? We'll start there. We'll start at the struggle. Then we'll go to the victories.
I think at this point I'm just waiting to hear back about how I'm gonna be able to take pictures of the student interns for this semester, just because of like COVID restrictions and stuff. Like, been trying to
Sure.
plan that with them, but Professor Bridge is gonna try and help me with that. So hopefully I'll have more info on that because I think like he's either in charge of the program or he's like one of the people
Yes,
that helped create
yes,
it.
for sure.
So he said that he would help. So I'm gonna try and figure that out by like Wednesday.
Cool. Cool. Anybody else that run anything unexpected, unanticipated? Ramen. It looks delicious. I love me some ramen. I do. It's the truth. Even as an adult, I make it.
I was hungry. I had to.
Not knocking it. You know what? Yeah, not knocking it at all. All right. So since we're not encountering any struggles, and I'm guessing that we are on the path to putting this thing together, I wanted to share something with you. So Haley, this is due to you. Thank you. You were talking about the tarot cards and getting them to, roll over and flip and stuff. And I started investigating on how to do this. And it turns out that, so I'm not sure when any of you all had me for 251, but back in the day, okay, I've been doing this class since 2011 and probably since 2013. We did portfolios all programmed in InDesign. Did anybody here do those? We just did Spark, right? And we did the InDesign for the little interactive ad, right? So I had to change everything because basically Flash is dead and Adobe didn't give us a good outlet for those tools. And a few years ago, they replaced Flash or started, replacing the functionality of it with EPUB docs. Anybody here familiar with what EPUB docs are? If you're an Apple person and you ever go to the Apple store to get a magazine or a book, those are EPUBs. Okay, and the cool thing about EPUBs is you can have interactive elements to it. So in the spirit of making this the best experience possible, and the best part is, your professor actually knows a lot about animation and doing all the EPUB stuff. Much better than he does all the formatting stuff with the stupid eyedropper thing. That said, I want to spend the next couple of minutes showing you some examples that I found online for EPUB. And then I'm going to go ahead, and somebody started coming in and they didn't. They heard my voice and they ran away. And then we'll talk about it, right? But I just want to show you a couple of examples of what's possible. So Haley's page could be totally possible. I was thinking of some of the other pages. We had a page of a lot of dog footprints and the stuff. Was that Fallon's? I forget who did that. All of these things could be made hella cool. Even better for your portfolio, right? So we're going to create a flat PDF version because That's the most emailable, but we're going to also do an EPUB version. So let me share this screen. And I apologize that this is the only example I had time to find. I had some other ones that are on my laptop, and quite frankly, it didn't make sense to try to do two things. Here we go. So hopefully you can see Adobe Chrome. And can you guys see this? Increase lead quantity, revenue, perfect. So I queued this up. This is some agency that does these. Not all of this I would call best practices because some of this looks a little on the cheesy side, a little overdone, but it gives you a good idea of what is possible. So let's start with this.
So the first one, static cover page. And again, you can animate any of this up in here. And next one, you can have your field content. You can also animate the type in here, animate these graphics in the background. So the first one, you'll see that the type, just for your H1 and your H2 just kind of come in from the left and the right, really set up some type of hierarchy. And to make it more lively, to give the page some life, in other words. And moving along, this is one of our section dividers. Again, you see how the chapter 3 kind of just blowing up to the top. Next page, you notice that the headline on top does like the spring action, the image pulsates, showing that that's like an important image or something. In other words, just to keep the reader engaged by having things move around the page. In other words, so that way it's not just static. Next page, again, we have an image that fades into place. And when you get to what we call a CTA page, you have that icon just kind of coming down the path and to really, focus more on the call to action, which is the download now button. And it's clickable. You can click here and it'll send you to download the asset. So in this next example, you're going to see that this cover page is a little bit more animated than the previous one. So let me refresh this page and I'll show you what that animation looks like. So here you have the main headline that fades in, subheadline fades in, and then you have these dots here that just kind of pulsate. So I'll refresh again. Main headline fades in, subheadline fades in, and then the dots pulsate. So moving on to the next page. You'll see that there's a headline that fades in, intro copy comes in, body copy comes in, and then you have these other little assets, such as this icon, the start here, and then the footer. And then you'll also notice that there's an arrow here that kind of just pulsates, indicating that this item here, this icon is actionable. So let me refresh the page again so that way you can see the animation before I show you what this does. So with that, again. So headline comes in, intro copy, body copy, icon, start here, and footer, and then you're going to pulsate, indicating that this is an actionable icon. So if we were to click on that, you'll notice that this panel just kind of opens up, and this is just dummy text, but there can be any type of stat. You can put an image here or anything that you want to put here for your users to see. And then we can close this. I'll open it again and close it. So, why should someone care about interactive ebooks? As I mentioned earlier in this blog, interactive ebooks not only add flair or pizzazz, but most importantly, it enhances the reading experience through imagery, typography, color, layout, and engagement through motion graphics. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to visit campaigncritters.com.
What do you guys think about enhancing our magazine with some interaction? It's your magazine. You guys can say no. I think it would be badass. I think there's so many opportunities just to make it a little more interesting by fading something in, by bringing it in maybe gently. I didn't like the boing, oing, 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 oing thing. That was kind of cheesy. It's always cheesy. Annalisa, where are you at? Are you in Broad Ripple?
Yeah, I am. I'm at the Starbucks in Broad Ripple.
Good for you. I'm like, that's my neighborhood back there. It's hilarious.
I think it would be a good idea. I think it would look cool.
And we all have the basic skills. We all learned the basics of animation on that assignment. Good to polish that off. And again, one more thing to make kind of Butler stand out is a little more cutting edge, right? Than just a PDF. Here's a PDF you can read. Make each page kind of a little more interesting. There's a bunch of websites I can show you as well that have some ebook book pubs. You can just look up Google EPUB magazines, and there's a bunch of them. And most of them just have a page turn, honestly. Most of them are just PDFs that have page turns in them. But we can do something at least, like I said, it doesn't have to be over the top. But Haley, your thought of interaction made me look into it, and then I thought of that, and I thought it was pretty cool. You guys want me to go over some of that stuff? Let's do that. I have a few InDesign pages built already. All right. So, I share my InDesign screen. All right. So one of the things I don't think I showed you, I think we all know the animation part, right? The best way to get this whole party started is to, I'm assuming you can see this, is to get the animation stuff going. So interactive for PDF. And even that doesn't bring everything up. That does bring up buttons and forms. It brings up media. It doesn't bring up animation. So window, interactive, animation. I'm going to dock this over here, so I'm not constantly looking for it. And another one I really like, the one I'm going to start with here, is object states, because we never did object states, because HTML5, the way we were doing it with that guy's script, would not handle this. But we're also going to open the window for interactive that says object states. Okay, and I have created a multi-state object here. And so we have one multi-state object. And so for instance, I'm going to go ahead and do something different. I'm going to undo this multi-state object. So you guys watch me make it. Boom, that's how you undo a multi-state object. So this multi-state object is actually, should be two objects. Do I have to release all of them separately? We all release all states to objects. There we go. Now here's everybody at the party. They're the same ones that are on the other page. Okay, perfect. All right. So what we want to do is we're going to create a multi-state object. For instance, let me put these to aside. What we were wanting to do with the tarot cards, right? So let's say these are two different looks for the tarot card, right? It could be two different rectangles with two different images in them. Same thing. We want to make them so that when the mouse rolls over them, they become a button, right? And it actually starts doing something. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my buttons and forms. I'm going to dock object states here so we don't lose it. I have to go back. And my object should be showing up here. And all right, so this has now become a button. Just that's how we make a button. A button can trigger different events. I'm gonna give you the tour first before I dive into stuff. So you can name your button here. I highly recommend you name your button something that is logical, like red hexagon. Because you might not be the last person in the world to see this. And if you have a bunch of stuff going on a page, it's great help to help your fellow designers along by knowing what they're looking at, right? So it has a name now. It is the red hexagon. Sounds like a good name for a movie. And on release or tap, so that if that's, okay, let's talk about the events here. Let's talk about these, because you think you know a lot about this, but I don't think you know as much as you think you know. Most people would say, well, on click, that's what I want, but that is not how the internet works. I apologize if you've heard this spiel before. Normally, when you go to a website, you could click on something and change your mind by dragging your mouse off and unclick, right? So really what's happening is the internet does not work when you click on something. It works when you release that click. All right, maybe that blew your mind. Maybe you knew that already. So I'm not going to change this to on-click. I'm going to leave this to on-release or tap. Tap is what they do on, what do you call those things? Tablets, iPads. We also have on rollover, right? And then we could add actions. And we're going to do that. We're going to go to state. Now, this is not a multi-state object yet. Let's create a multi-state object first. But I could have it go to different pages. I could have it open up a URL. So for instance, we could have something that links to, if somebody's interested in talking about the Stratcom major, something that goes over there. Somebody's interested in something that goes to the College of Communication, we could put live links in there real easily. Go to URL. We can create forms as well. We're not going to do any of that. I just want to show you object states because I think they're really super useful. You can make a photo gallery on this with this or whatever. All right, so I'm going to select both objects to create an object state. They're both selected. I have 2 items selected. And I am going to go to object states and I'm going to create a new multi-state object. Boom, there it is. And it is called multi-state object 3 because I practiced this a couple of times. And I'm going to call this red hex multi because it's important to have things labeled in a way we understand. There's 2 states. So this object has 2 states of being, right? It can be this or it can be that. All right, let's go back over to our buttons and forms. Select this. Oh, for some reason, it seems it was a button, but now the buttonness is buried in there. I can't have a button like that. Okay, so we need to make this a button after we make the state. So let's undo that buttonness because I don't want to make this like confused. Go back to object states. I'm going to show you how to undo object states. Oh my. I'm going to go to the hamburger menu up here in the right-hand corner. Hopefully you can see that right there. And I'm going to click release all states to objects. That way I get all the states to objects. Now everything is back to where it was. I'm going to undo the button on this. To undo that, I'm going to control and click on it. And I'm going to do, oh, maybe it's not a control click. Hold on a second. Maybe it's a command click. Nope. I'm going to go back up to objects. Actually, it should be right here. I think I have the wrong one selected. There we go. This looks more like it. I go interactive, and I'm going to convert that back from a button to an object. It lost a little icon that it showed it was a button. And I'll show you again. The icon's a little finger pushing a button. This time, I'm going to make the object states first. New object state, and it'll be number 4. And we're going to call this what? Red hex. Multi. I know it's exciting watching me do this. There we have, it has 2 states. Red hex multi has a blue and a red state. Now we're going to go to buttons and forms. And now I'm going to make this an button. I'm going to go ahead and go to type and just select this thing and type, and I can't have a button. Oh my, look at that. I can't make a button here. All right. Notice I can't do any of that. So we're going to have to make a dummy object, right? That's going to control all of this stuff. All right. So to do that, I'm going to just create a frame. I think I can animate frames. If not, we'll create a box. But I just created a frame. And now on that frame, I'm going to make that a button. So that frame, that invisible box, and you'll notice it's got the little, you know it's a button because it's got that little icon, and we know that's a multi-state object by the icon that's right above that. How about that? How about all that goodness? All right, I like to make that box just tidy enough to cover everybody. Now we have a button. Watch this, not on release or tap. I want this to happen. So we're imagining this is the tarot card, right? We want to see the other side. We want it to see the other thing, the other piece of information. So on rollover, up, action. Go to next state. Wait for it, and you'll see. It's like we're programming, folks. It's like we're programming without programming. Now, the last thing I want to do is add another action. Oops, I want to, nope, not yet. On roll off, another event. That's an event. On roll off, I want to add the action with a previous state. Bump, bump, bump. So now in theory, when I roll off of this, and I shouldn't call it button 2, I should call this red hex button. So everything has a logical name. Again, just a good practice to get into. Now let's preview this on our EPUB preview. Let's make that big. I'm gonna make sure I hit play so it's nowhere. So we're playing on rollover, on roll off. Oh, tarot card. Anyhow, that was the magic trick. This has been recorded. There's also a recording that's similar to this already posted in Canvas that talks about, what did it talk about? It talks about how to do this to make a slideshow. It's the same kind of an idea. Was that interesting? Haley, helpful?
Yeah, that was helpful. I have a question though.
Yeah.
So if I want to do obviously like the back of it, will I need to like go into InDesign, already have the back design ready, put it into InDesign, and then that would be like the blue circle as opposed to the red button in that situation?
Yeah, you can import it either as an image.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you can place an Illustrator file directly in here.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. So you can place the Illustrator files in there and then just make those into the buttons you need to make. You know what I mean? Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
I think so.
Yeah, you don't have to make them JPEGs or anything like that. I mean, it might make it a smaller file if you do,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know that for certain.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm happy to help at any time on any of this. Like, this is my favorite thing in the world. You know, I taught animation at IUPUI for 5 years. I like making stuff move.
Yeah, I'll work on because I started working on the design yesterday, but I wasn't exactly sure how the animation was going to work. So I was going to wait till we had.
Yeah, so what we want to do is just make sure in InDesign we have them aligned horizontally and vertically.
Like right on top of each other? you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. That's how I got that to work for me, is I had them right on top of each other. And
Okay.
you just use the align tools. It's the same align tools that you have in Illustrator.
Okay.
Same thing.
Okay.
But hopefully, you know, then we have all the basic stuff y'all remember, right? With just the animation panel, moving stuff in. Y'all remember that at all? You want me to demo a quick little demo on that? I don't care. Yeah, okay, well, don't cost nothing and we're here. I came all the way to campus hoping somebody would come in, but not only that, I never want it to be said that you guys didn't have an opportunity to come in. Because God forbid I get a bad review that says that. And I don't want that. I want you guys to be able to do what you want. All right. So what the heck did I just went back to InDesign. Okay, sorry, I had to think about what I just did here for a second. Aren't that smart? You are, I'm sharing my screen and y'all can't see that, and I like that. Okay. So I'm gonna do on the page on the right side, oops, EPUB. I can animate this stuff, so if I had text in here or whatever, I'm interested, I wonder. Just a quick little thing out of my mind to see if this works. I wonder if it'll wrap text interactively. Never thought of it, but we may as well give it a try. Let's go with type and fill with placeholder text. Beautiful, now I have some type. And we're gonna put text wrap on this guy, right? So the text wants to wrap about him. I like trying new stuff. Where am I? Window, text wrap, that's where I'm at. And boom. All right, I'm gonna animate this thing in. I wonder what this will do. So I'm gonna put this over here so I'm gonna go looking for it again. I like docking stuff. All right, so animation. We have this guy selected, he's the oval. And I'm gonna choose fly in from the right side. And I want it to go slow, so take about 3 seconds for this, 2 seconds. 2 3/4 speed from the preset. I want it to ease in and out. It's always good to do ease in and out. Ease in and out. Basically, instead of it jerking to go fast, it'll speed up and go fast. And then instead of coming to a stop, it'll park. That's what ease in and ease out is. I recommend using it all the time. It makes stuff look better by doing nothing. And now let's take a look at how this looks. Oh, and the text wrap stays. Okay, so we answered our question, right? And there's a whole bunch of these. And the best part about this, I want to go on. Answered my question on that. The text wrap does not just wrap into it. It would have been cool if the type would have reflowed. That would have been asking a lot. But we have a lot of other opportunities to do stuff, right? So we have all of these. And again, we have more properties, right? So we could, in this case, I'm going to change this one here, because that was kind of weird looking with that little on-page load. And again, our timing, right? We can do this on the page load, or when somebody clicks on something, or when somebody rolls over it, you can time these things. Just like we did the rollover self over here. So I'm going to make this one just fade up. Custom fly, and we're just going to have this fade in. Fade in, there we go. It's just a little more. And then this one here, we're just going to make it do something else. And I just want to make this one do something a little more interesting. And oh, I want you to recall that we have paths that get created with these. They're not the easiest paths to work with, mind you, but we can work with animation paths as well. So for instance, I have this guy here, and I want him to animation, fly in from the top. So there he is, right? And this is the path. This is where he's going to start at. It's not very much. If I go preview this, you'll see he starts in the middle of the page. He just kind of fades in and really just starts. Let me play that again. He just really kind of fades in and starts right here. I can change that path and alter that path. So this is the green thing here, is the path. And I believe that if I select these points with my white arrow, I can start editing this path. I can enlarge this path so it comes in from off the page. And I believe, let's see if it lets me do this. Yet, but there are little dots in this path already. If I get the path to be green again, I can usually get these little paths. Here we go. Make this path be green again. Got to reselect it. Maybe if I just click on you and move you, or just click on you and click on you again. I should be able to bend that path though. Hold on a second. I'm gonna try this again. I have done this. Select this point right here. And how about if I change your point type? You gotta let me do that. Oh, of course you're not. And maybe I can rotate your path. Okay, well, there is a way to get this to change and move and change. Maybe there's a handle that's hidden here. That's the path. All right, well, that's not a good use of any of our time, but we can get it to change. I know we can, and I will figure that out if somebody wants to do that. I will tinker into this on my laptop. Just haven't done that particular thing in a while, but we can get that whole path to change. And now when we preview it, we have the preview of that coming in and appearing. Let's watch that again. At ease in, right? It just kind of parks. Let me show you that without the ease in. So you see what it looks like without the ease in. It's hard to really discern, but there is a difference. Let me select this guy right here and go to easy ease. Where is fees? Maybe it's not available in this one. I thought it was. Speed from preset, ease in and ease out. Here we go. The preset had ease in and ease out. So there it is with ease in and ease out, and let's go to none. That's what I wanted to show you. Replay. Oops. I did fade out instead of fade in. Hold on, folks, I changed something. But you see how he just clicks in there? You see how that just slams into position at the very end? Plop, and it just it's almost mechanical the way it clicks. And then ease in. Easy ease. Where are we? Speed. And ease in and ease out means it'll start moving and Now it parks. Let me replay that. I'm not too sure that really was as good as it could have been. That was a little weird. Let's give it a little more duration. I think the longer it takes, the slower that parking job takes. So it speds up, you see it? And it parks. There we go. A little longer, you could really see it. So you'll see it speed up as it fades in. And then it slows down. Beautiful. Anyhow, that's the animate thing. And then we also can work with buttons if you wanted to do something with buttons. So for instance, you might, Fallon, have something where you wanted, instead of making all this text readily evident all the time, maybe you wanted to have something show up when I clicked on something, right? So maybe zoom out and get 2 more elements here. And so, move my type out of the way. Here we go. 2 more elements. And so maybe I want to make this a button that this only shows up when I roll over this. I'm going to change its appearance. It's not a multi-state. One thing is going to control another thing. So I have 2 objects, and I am going to go ahead and call this a button. So it's oval. We're going to call it blue oval. Trying to model good behavior. And I want this to, oops, I'm in animation. That's not what I wanted to do. No. Buttons and forms. Here we go. I'll make that a button. And I'm going to call that blue oval. Here we go. That's a place for a name. And I want it to be on release or tap. So when I click on it, right? I want some action to happen. And then I want it to, make this item appear. Okay, so how are we going to do that? I am going to make this into a, I guess it would be another multi-state object. Yeah, it would be. So I literally would plop it in transparent box like we did before over this one. And I'm going to select them both now. And back over to multi-state objects. And we're going to call this Presto. Not a great name for the next person working on this, but it's going to make that object appear, right? So we have Presto right there, and I'm going to go back to buttons and forms. And now I can go to this button, and I can tell it I want a on release or tap, action. Oh, I have a show hides buttons and forms as well. I didn't need to do that. I could have made that other one no button and shown it and hit it. Let's do that. We already did multi-state. There you go. That should be blue button, blue oval. There we go. On release or tap. On this one, I'm just going to make it a button. And now on this one, I'm going to go back and say blue oval on release or tap. Show hide buttons and forms. And I want to, normally, this is the button 4. On release or tap, show, eyeball. Let's see if that worked. No, it did not. Oh, you know why? Look at its normal appearance. Its normal appearance is normal. That's not what I want. Let's click this and leave this as its normal appearance. Whatever I leave as its normal appearance will become its appearance, I believe. Now that should not be there. Oh. All right, so show hide button. Let's try this. So anytime we've rolled off of that button should be hidden. No. All right, I have a programming conundrum here I need to figure out. If that page doesn't help me any. So this is a button. Let's try this. The visibility should be nothing. All right, we're gonna make it disappear. Making it appear would just be the opposite. On release or tap, it disappears. It literally would just be the opposite, which means I gotta like have another action on this, but you guys get the idea. You guys got the idea. I don't think I'm being really useful with your time anymore at this point. But I kept most of you. Hopefully that was a little useful. And I'm happy to help any one of you. So if you're trying to accomplish something and you're struggle busing, 6 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock at night, you can send me a message. If you really want me to see it right then, you can text me. And if I'm available, I'll come help you, okay? That sound cool?
Thank you.
So your next mission for all of you is, I know you've all been working on stuff, try to think of a way to make it interesting for someone interactively, right? Again, don't go over the top with like sticking stuff in people's face, because this looks cheesy, right? Subtle, gentle is beautiful. I think this is going to be like the world's best thing.
Sorry, I have a really quick question.
Yes, Fallon.
So I'm doing, the major kind of overview, but, so, I mean, kind of my current problem is the layout of it is kind of more of a traditional magazine. So I would kind of have, I would have to kind of almost reformat, the whole thing to make it interactive. So when is this due by? Because I could definitely get it done by the end of the week, but I just didn't know if there was a timeline.
Next Tuesday, I was hoping for.
Okay, perfect. Then yeah, I can definitely work.
So here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for us to have like a flat file, a PDF file of everything kind of in place that I could circulate to the faculty, like Campbell, and people are going to be looking for typos and grammatical crap, because we don't want to look foolish, right? Last thing I want is a bunch of prospective students going, look at this shit Butler puts out. So I want everybody above me, the faculty who is tenured, and the dean's office, I want everybody else to take responsibility for it, in essence. When you have somebody proofread your work, essentially you're handing off responsibility. And I'm not a proofreader. Honest to God, it's not. I mean, you've seen my assignments on Canvas. You know I'm not a proofreader. So there's that. So if we have something to circulate like later this week, that would be wonderful, because that gets them off my back, literally. And then we could talk about developing up. And for next week, next week. And if you need any help between now and then, let me know, even if it's over the weekend or whatever. I'm good.
Sounds good.
Sound reasonable? And again, we already built all of this stuff. We're just adding pizzazz to it. That's a little bit of pizzazz. We don't want to go over the top. No jazz.
I have a question.
Yes.
So since you want us to also have like a version that's not interactive, do you want us to label that in the Google Drive, like the flat version and the interactive version?
Yes, let's go ahead and make 2 folders even, right? If somebody wants to do that. One for the flat design or the basic design, and one for the interactive. And again, we're going to put 2 things out into the world. It just doesn't seem that to me that'd be that much more effort, especially if everyone's taking a little piece of it, to make this look really special to high school kids. And that's our target audience. Come to CCOM. We don't have anything on signing, do we? It would be really cool the day we do an article on signing to have hands flashing with a message. That would be really cool.
So when we put our layout in the Google folder, do we put it in PDF form? Will that allow you to see the animations or no?
No, PDFs will not have any animations. So what you want to do is you want to EPUB. It's actually an option when you go to Save As. Let me look real quick. Okay. Save As, I believe it's EPUB. Nope, it's Export. It's an export, and you'll see that, and it says Export, and then actually EPUB. And then we want to do EPUB Fixed Layout. There's 2 kinds of EPUB. There's EPUB Fixed Layout and EPUB Flowable. Maybe you can guess the difference, right? One's going to be more geared for devices that'll let you take this publication and reflow it. Having never gone down this road before, I don't want to go down that road on a first try, right? I have this philosophy in life. Never try anything important for the first, for the first time on something important. You know what I mean? Never, unless you have lots of time to practice it and we know what it's going to look like on every phone. So we're going to publish it like this, then we'll make a secret EPUB where it flows and we'll learn about how that EPUB flows stuff. This is the way how you save it. Was that helpful?
Going off of Sam's question, so
Yeah.
for the flat file, do you want that in a PDF in the drive?
That could be in PDF, but always, I can't stress this enough. Always save your working files. Archive them. You go to File, Archive. Is it Archive? Package. It says Package. I think maybe it's Illustrator. It says Archive. I don't know. Yeah. But File, Package. And why do you always want a file package? Because it's going to take all the bits and pieces that you made and put them in one spot instead of being all over your computer. And that way, when you do go to move it, everything is self-contained. Does that make sense? So it's an InDesign file package. And then if you see warnings that it can't find something, caramba, go find it, right? Make sure you don't have any broken links because nobody else is going to be able to find it. You will be the only person who can prevent that problem. Henry's like, I'm all about that stuff. Right on.
Is there any update on the Bright Blue story?
What?
Or you can go first.
Sorry, I was just saying, with like the missing links thing, what do you want to do about that?
Let me show you how to fix them. How does that sound? Okay? I'm going to do that right now. And Alex, you have a quick question I can get to before you forget your question?
It was just about like if there is an update yet on the Bright Blue story and what to do with that.
I just put it in the Google Drive today because I just heard back from Kyle today. So I put it in there like an hour ago.
Right,
so it's
but
now
Molly, have you updated it all to reflect the new Bright Blue that's coming?
no, I have to make the edits to that. I just have like the
Okay.
basic of what Kyle gave me today.
That's what I thought. Okay, cool. So that's where you stand
Awesome.
with that.
Thank you.
I'm going to show everybody how to package and how to relink, okay? When you have a broken link. So I'm going to share again, and I'll show you how broken links happen, because I'm going to make one. All right. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to make this I'm going to place a photo in here. Please. And I'm going to find a photo anywhere on this computer. There we go. Place the dean's picture in there. Let's do a little fitting in here, just for giggles. Fitting. Why are you being this way? Fitting. And we're going to fit the content proportionally. Let's fill the frame proportionally. More fun. There we go. I like that even better. And now I'm going to go move her picture. So her picture came from my downloads folder. Downloads, where are you? And her picture is right here, even though her name is Barnett, not Barrett. So I'm going to move this picture onto the desktop. Just chuck it right here. Boom. Now, when we look at this picture, you'll notice all of a sudden, you guys couldn't see that part, but I moved it from one folder to the other. Sorry for not sharing that. You can suddenly see there's a question mark here. It wasn't there before when it was in the downloads folder. I broke a link. If I was to go ahead and package this, it would say, hey, dude, you have a broken link. One link found, one missing. You never want missing stuff. So I'm going to cancel that packaging. I'm going to go fix this link. There's two ways to go about it. One is to go to the links panel over here on the right, and there's your different links. If you had a bunch of links broken, they would all be there. If you had a bunch of links that weren't broken, it would all be there. And it would show you what page that they were on, right? So this appears on page 3. Technically, this is page 3. We start on page 2. And the link says, I don't know where this is at. So I can either double click the red question mark here, or just right from my layout, I can double click the red question mark and it says, find me this picture. I need to find it now. And I'm going to say, oh, okay, desktop. And I'm going to say, yes, sir. You can go to my desktop folder. And there it is. If I had moved a bunch of things, then a bunch of things would all be coming over. But now that little question mark is gone. And now when I go to package, I have nothing missing, nothing inaccessible. That's what you always want to make sure of. And then once you do, let me go ahead and package all of this for you. So let's go run through the steps here. So I'm gonna go to package, and I'm gonna just hit package, and I gotta save it. So let's save it. Save on the desktop is fine. I'm gonna call this delete me, because that's what I'm gonna do to it eventually. And I'm gonna leave this all just at its defaults. Don't bother reading it. It's gonna come as a high quality print, that's fine. We're gonna package all of that. Now this little thing just tells you know what this warning says? It says, hey, if you're stealing some fonts, it ain't Adobe's fault. Or anything else that you might be stealing. It's Adobe's way of getting out of any kind of legal action. We say okay to that. And there we go. And now that has been packaged to my desktop. Let's go find it. I'm gonna go share my desktop right now so we can do the last step of this because I want to do all of it with you. And where are you, desktop? So there's my desktop. I think you can see my desktop maybe. There should be a folder on this desktop. Here it is. Here is delete me. That's what I call the project. So if you look at it inside of here, the contents of this folder, hopefully you can see all of this. There's the project. There's the InDesign markup language version, which if you've ever had problems with your interactive stuff, you've used it. If not, just know that it's there because it'll fix a lot of broken things. And here's the link. So any fonts that might have been in the project, there they are, just in case you didn't have Minion Pro where you were going. And the links, there's the photo. And all of that has been relinked to be into this one address, this one thing. Okay. So with that folder created, if I want to put this on Google Drive, I can't Google Drive a folder as far as I know. I can't just drag it. Maybe I might be able to. Maybe you guys know how to. A great way to save this is to zip it. So I'm just control and clicking on it. So basically right clicking on it. And then I'm going to go to compress. And now I have a zip file of that. And the zip file is just like a candy wrapper. All the goodness is still inside. You guys cool with all that? Probably a review for a lot of you, but for some of you, it'll probably be a good review. Any other questions for me? Are you guys liking this project so far? I am. So on Wednesday, I'm going to ask you about your next project. We need to be thinking forward. And I want you to be thinking about this because I want this class in the end to be something that reflects something you want. Think about what kind of project you might want. So we're doing a magazine. We're working on a multi-page document now. Do you want a poster campaign? Do you want a logo campaign? Do you want something I haven't dreamt of yet as an assignment? I'm open to suggestions. What was that? Samantha, I didn't hear you.
I thought a logo campaign would be cool since we already made a poster.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys can talk about it amongst yourselves. I want it to be something you want. When we figure out what we're going to do, I will make some rules around it so that we're all kind of on a level playing field. There we go. But be thinking about what you might want in your portfolio. At the end of the day, this is about getting you guys jobs. I want you guys to stand out. And people go, holy crap, I want that Samantha Walker girl. She's amazing. Walk off, sorry. Called you Walker. But that's what I want. I want all of you to have that experience on everybody you interview with. All right, so if there's nothing else, I'm gonna hang out here until you guys are all gone. I'm welcome to sit here and walk you through anything you want because class goes for another 25 minutes. This is my social hour for the day. It really is. I'm gonna go home to 2 dogs that can't go outside because it's wet. Maybe it'll stop raining. If not, I'll see y'all. And I'll be here. Everyone knows what they're doing. I'll see you later.
I'm going to start working on the back design for the cards, and then I might need to have just me. I'm going to try to do what we practiced today, and if I can't figure it out, then I'll email you and let you know.
I did record all of it in case, and it'll take a while because they record it to the cloud, so wherever I'm at, I'll upload it to Canvas, but
Okay.
I'm happy to walk you through it. I really am.
Okay,
To
sounds
me,
good.
this is fun.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, sounds good.
All right, I'll see you, Haley.
Bye.
And
I just
Lisa.
kind of had a question about how you're going to be going about like grading this whole project. I know that I kind of signed up late on this sheet, so I'm kind of just put in like final look over of like layouts for different things. And I think the people that I'm working with kind of have done majority of the things for it already, even though I've
Sure.
been trying to find a way to like participate and help them. But I don't know if there's like anything that you would suggest doing. Like I know there's a few other people who are feeling like they're not quite sure either, but
Okay, well, you know what? I'll throw this out there. What if anybody who's feeling underutilized, and I can send out a note that is to this effect so that anybody could feel they have the same opportunity you're getting. What if you made an ad for like a program here in CCOM, or just for CCOM and why CCOM is good?
okay, yeah.
A little promotional, you know, on a page saying, I don't know what it would say.
I'll
I
come
don't
up with
know.
something.
But if it was, for instance, if it was whatever the leadership program is called here now, they changed its name so many times. Orgcom, basically, right? You know,
Yeah.
maybe it's just one little fact sheet on how different majors are confusing but disambiguated. You can make a page of anything, any kind of,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, just add a page and there you go.
All
Trust
right.
me.
Sounds good.
I want everyone to contribute. I want everyone to get an A.
All right.
End of
sounds
the day,
amazing.
I just want, and I think we all want the same thing. We all want to contribute. We all want to put something out there. And then
Yeah.
we also want to have something where we have something that you can point at and say, look what I did.
For sure. Okay. That makes me feel a lot better. Thank you so
Cool.
much.
You're welcome.
All
And
right.
I'll
That
send a
is
note out to
all.
everybody.
All right. Amazing. Thank you. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
rest of your day.
Great seeing you. Enjoy Broad Ripple.
Bye-bye.
Bye.